This is a special broadcast on Times Now. Thank you for joining us, viewers. The Ram Mandir complex in Ayodhya is spread across 60 acres. 22 acres is what the core area of the Ram temple will be. And when you step out into the complex, you will be guided by the signages designed by the man who's now joining us. Baarish Date is with us on Times Now. Baarish Date, congratulations first of all. Welcome to Times Now. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thanks, Pranesh.
Now, I just want to begin by asking you, when did you get this call?
Okay, so nobody's asked me this. So actually, I was traveling to, I was in San Francisco on a work visit. And we got this call from, we got an email from Tata Consulting Engineers and the trust. The trust is the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirtha Kshetra, asking for an online cred deck presentation with the core team. So that was the first call, and that was the the first interaction. And once I came back, then kind of this one thing led to the other, and we were onboarded eventually. But the genesis of this is that 2 years ago, Ayodhya Development Authority and the UP government had floated a national competition, an open competition for the wayfinding and signage design for the city of Ayodhya. And Graphics Beyond won the competition, and that's how we came into the radar. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how many meetings did it take, Baarish, to finalize this contract, if I can use that word, for Ram Mandir complex?
No, so we were commissioned on board based on the credibility, the past experience, and our works. Pranesh, Graphics Beyond, I co-founded it along with Priyanka in 2002.
Right.
We are architects and wayfinders by our basic training. We are a team of 20 of us. The studio is based in Mumbai, and we have done a lot of projects with some great clients till now in the public sector and private sector. And hence, once we were onboarded, for the design to finalize were the fortnightly meetings and the typical works. It's a process. The design is a process that follows strategy, and it's a teamwork along with Tata Consulting Engineers and the Ram Janmabhoomi Trust. So yeah.
Okay.
This entire thing happened over a period of 8-9 months for the design to finalize.
Okay. Now we'll get into the details, Baarish, but for our viewers, could you just break this down? How important are the signages? And we've seen signage. In fact, we see signages all around us, whether just as we step out of our homes on our way to work, schools, colleges, everywhere. We just live around signages. How does this work?
In a place of such national significance, historical importance, and close to the heart to so many who follow the faith, it builds a narrative, Pranesh. Signs help build a narrative. Signs are the first point of contact as a touch point to visitors, and they help the masses, reassure them. They help make the entire complex environment legible. They make it readable. Not in just in terms of language, but they make it familiar and they make it easy. So it helps the experience of navigating any place to any visitor, any devotee. And that's the primary function of what signs here will help visitors and devotees, how they will help them at the Ram Mandir complex. And it being 22 acres, the protagonist being the Ram Mandir, but there are other places of importance, of value. There's something called Kuber Tila, which is where Shri Ram and his followers, they used to go there to pray to Lord Shiva. It's a 30-feet tall hillock on which sits a shivling, and Shri Ram used to go there to to offer prayers to Shivji, and when in kind of short of funds, those are the prayers, and hence it's called Kuber Tila. Now the entire narrative about Kuber Tila becomes a sign. So signs carry narratives, they carry stories. Yeah.
Let's talk about the pictograms. I've seen, some of it on your profile. What went into the design? What were the things that you had to keep in mind that were non-negotiables?
identifiability. A male and a female toilet cannot be confused within, right? The trust is extremely progressive. There are toilets also for transgender, on record. They have been extremely sensitive towards the gentry who's going to kind of visit. It's going to be people from all across the country and the world. So it's not only the European WC. There are Indian WCs also. Now that's ground level sensitivity, and these are converted into pictograms. So there is absolutely no confusion and total clarity on what this stands for. So a series of pictograms, dedicated custom designed pictograms, have been developed for this project. Not only the men, women, but a whole series of pictograms which connote and communicate exactly what the function of that program or that facility is. And these kind of are the carriers of the primary communication with the devotees and the visitors.
Let's talk about the language and the font you've used, Baarish, because there has been a lot of talk about especially the language. So if you could shed more light on that.
Sure. It was, the trust and TC were very clear that we need to communicate to everybody who's visiting. And hence we did our bit of research, and we developed a stance that said we need to have a bilingual sign program here. The first being Devanagari. But as you know, the top half of India can read Devanagari, but the lower half may have issues. And hence English was also used as the secondary language for this diaspora as well as the international crowd. So it's a bilingual sign program. We have used a typeface designed by Sarang Kulkarni and team called Mukta. And that's where collaboration sets in. Mukta is a beautifully designed font in Devanagari as well as English, and with matching weights. And you won't find a difference when you read the Devanagari or the English in technical terms. But for everybody, it's a well planned, well laid out typographic treatment, and easy to communicate becomes a core point here that needs to be addressed, and that's what the aim is for.
And Baarish, I was reading somewhere, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the team had to keep in mind the sensitivities or perhaps the challenges of the monkey population in Ayodhya. So you had to make changes in design.
You said it. So more than changes, post our couple of earlier site visits and site studies, we realized that there's a huge population of monkeys, of a big Vanar Sena at site in Ayodhya overall. And the entire stance of a unified design is not only design signs and design hardware for humans, which works well ergonomically, but also something that doesn't hurt animals, that doesn't hurt birds. So unlike spokes that are placed on signs that we see in a lot of urban areas, which dissuade and discourage birds from sitting and eventual droppings, we have sensitively tweaked and designed the hardware such that even if monkeys go and sit on signs and they kind of interact with them, it's not going to be
they can't vandalize it
with this. Absolutely. Neither can they vandalize it. Imagine a nut bolt loose and somebody the monkeys ripping it off and then hurting somebody. So it's completely, in a way, dummy proof. Of course, it's vandal proof for the huge throngs of people that will visit this site, but also for the monkeys, sharp corners, it's human friendly as well as monkey friendly too.
Okay, now, let's talk about the salient features of the signages. And there is a report that talks about the auspicious motif, the Gavaksh. Could you tell us more about that?
So the primary temple architects, Sompuraji, and the supporting architects, Jay Kaktikar and team, have designed an extensive architectural language for the mandir and the supporting areas. And Gavaksh is an auspicious motif used in the stone carvings and all around. The same has been adopted for the reason of consistency and familiarity into the sign program. And what we achieve is a kind of single route or a unified design or something that kind of seamlessly integrates with the architectural scape of the property.
What were the major challenges, or perhaps the biggest challenge, if you want to share those with our viewers while you were on this project?
The Mandir and the complex is going to be visited by a huge number of devotees, visitors, bhakts throughout the country. The high points being Ram Navami and Diwali. And how does one address such a huge thousands and lakhs of people on a daily basis? And how does one navigate them using an intuitive strategy that is understood by an 80-year-old by an 80-year-old was the challenge, and hence an extremely intuitive strategy which says which was based on the study of the site, a study of the pedestrian routes, study of the junctions, and psychologically where would one be wanting to go, assisted us in drawing up an entire mapping of signs that hopefully will do its job.
Now, I'm sure it's a huge opportunity for you, like you said in your opening remarks. But Baarish, it is also a huge responsibility because of the kind of project that Ram Mandir in Ayodhya has become, or is.
There's no doubt about that. With this, after the initial euphoria that we have, we are going to be working on it. The second dawning on us was that, guys, this is a huge responsibility. So it's going to be it's got to be a greatly collaborative effort. Everybody's ears, eyes, and brains are kind of critically assessing what we are doing. And I think as an entire team and collaborations with people like Sarang, some very close friends in the design field, peer reviews helped achieve or reach, get this program to a level where hopefully it'll serve the purpose.
Okay, and Baarish, finally, before we let you go, how many signages or how many sign plates will there be there? If you have the numbers, or roughly?
No, so really that is inconsequential because in the world of wayfinding has arrived in India today. Yeah, we have been at it since 2002. The studio, into the world of wayfinding, but really the number of signs is not a measure or a yardstick to evaluate the success of a sign program. True. It's really about how well do signs integrate with the entire landscape and architectural scape, and do they do their job really in terms of people not wanting to ask each other about where to help them navigate or reach their destination. And that's the true measure of success. So the number of signs are optimal. We wouldn't want to divulge the number of signs or something like that right now. But yeah, but they are optimal, and they are placed at points where one really feels the need to know whether to where and how to reach. So that's the science and art of wayfinding. And I want to kind of extend this and mention that the world of wayfinding has finally arrived in the country, and it's getting its due. And thanks to all the sensitive individuals and organizations who see the value of adopting, using, and applying this science and art into their projects, it's got a bright future.
And Baarish, if I can ask you, during the course of this project, how many times did you actually visit the Mandir complex?
Thrice. Different teams from our end have visited for various studies. Yeah.
Okay, so you are assuring our viewers and the devotees that they will not lose their way once they are inside the Mandir complex, whether or not the Google Maps work. The signages designed by your team, Graphics Beyond, will lead them to the sanctum sanctorum and all the important corners of the complex.
Hopefully, it will help them not get lost and give them a wholesome experience, spiritual, following their faith, and something that's memorable for a lifetime.
Thank you, Baarish. Congratulations once again. Thank you for speaking to Times Now and for explaining the different facets of how this works in the Ram Temple complex in Ayodhya. Thank you.
Thanks, Pranesh.